Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go through the power or the versatility of the dynamic tracker markbook. So here you can see I've got this amount of time left to access these trackers, and I'm going to look at the dynamic tracker in particular just for today's video. I've got no tracker created. Okay, so I'm going to go to activity areas. I've already put a couple in already, so I've put a couple of activities in. But let's say that I want to add in OAA, save it into there. And let's say that I'm not doing anything specific for physical education. So in particular, I want to look at some number work in math. So I'm going to add in the activity for number. And maybe for art, I'd like to do some drawing, assessing, or an activity within that. And for English, let's say that I would like to look at an activity area of poetry. So once I've put them into the master, I can go to the activity to assess the particular area within that activity. So for tennis, I want to assess some skills. And for athletics or football, I might want to do some techniques. And let's say for OAA, because I put OAA in, let's do some problem solving. And we put number in, didn't we? So let's say in particular algebra. And for drawing, let's say that we want to look at some shading. And finally, poetry for English, we want to look at, I don't know, let's say creativity. So we've got the assessment areas in, and we've got the assessment that we want to assess within that area. So now when we go back to the dynamic tracker, and we've got no tracker created, so let's create a new tracker. Let's call it test 1. And we have no pupils in, so let's select add a new pupil. You can also upload, you can import your pupils into this area. So let's say AAA, surname BBB. Okay, now we've got no department here at the moment. So if we go to the edit area, add a department, this will give us a, let's call it science 1, doesn't really matter. Save it into there. And also we've got no teachers, so we can even assign teachers. So Mr. Strong, Strong. Save that one into there. Now if you saw when I did the department, a little code popped up for that particular department, and I'll show you that in a moment. So we go back to the book. Now when we click on this pupil, that pupil's got a code which you'll need, and the department for science, so that's the code that they'll also need for this student to access their results. It's a male, and the teacher is going to be Mr. Strong, and the starting at, so it's the start of year 8, let's say that they're on a 3. Okay, and they are gifted and talented. Now when we go to edit the existing tracker, we can select any of the activities that we put in. So let's say we want to assess OAA, problem solving, apply the activity. We want to know the effort that they did in that activity as well. And then we want to do number, and particular algebra, apply the activity, and apply the effort. So it's very easy, and we might then know that after these 2 half terms, so 6 weeks each, that we've got a year 8 parents' evening coming up. Okay, and then we might think that we need to assess poetry, and in particular creativity, apply the activity, apply the effort. And then we want to assess tennis and the skills in tennis. And then we know that we have year 8 reports. So we need to know where they are when we want to write their report. Okay, so we close this down, and then along here, all the areas that we've just added are in. So let's quickly throw some data in. just so that we can generate the report. So it says that the parents' evening year 8 1 of 3. Just quickly putting these in so you can see, because I'd like to show you so the year 8, they were 4.1, so they've made 1.1 of progress from the start of that year, and their average assessment is a 4.06. We can write any comments we want to put in there for parents evening. But now if we actually want to see the flight path and their assessments, we can generate a report on the student, which means all the information is dragged across, and at the bottom here, it's really cool, there's a flight path of where they need to be. So they started on a 3, okay, they're predicted realistically that they need to be around the 4 if they're going to be a full target above, and then it goes through all the areas of what they've been assessed in so far. So those 4 activity areas are being assessed, and it's giving you the average line. We've got this real low one in here. This is their natural flight path. This red line here is their natural flight path. So a cool little feature to add in there. So just close that one down. So the reason why this was generated was to allow that dynamic approach, but being able to build your curriculum, whatever it is that you're teaching, personally to you and your department, but also to try and incorporate key areas of the school calendar, and also allow you to when you're doing your parents' evening, to look at those students' reports that you've generated and see the hotspots, so see where it is that they're overachieving, where is it that they need to gain better skills in, or they need to improve upon. So this is the reason why we developed this particular tracker. And also, it's important that we know where they are for GCSE. So at the end of year 9, we need to know how close they are to being GCSE ready. So that average assessment, or that final assessment area, how close are they going to be? Their year 8 report, the 4.1, but how close or how ready are they actually for the more rigorous GCSEs?